Well, another podcast recording, hey?
Yeah, I love your enthusiasm. Thank you so much. I want to start by talking about doing my teeth. I did my teeth. I just did my teeth. You seem to think that was unusual. What's unusual about doing my teeth?
Well, your phrasing is just weird. You just said doing
I think that's
teeth.
really common. I'm doing
Doing
teeth.
teeth. How
Doing
does one
teeth
how does one do teeth?
with a toothbrush.
It's one of the things you can do with them.
Yeah, you could also be flossing them. I could be, mouthwashing them.
Right. So you admit
So I'm
that
doing my teeth.
you were vague. It's very vague.
Yeah, well, what did you want me to say? I'm going to be brushing my teeth and then doing a little bit of a gargle? It's some unnecessary detail.
To be clear, I did assume you were brushing your teeth.
Exactly. So what's the problem then?
I don't think doing teeth is an expression.
It is an expression. People say that all the time.
Why wouldn't you say brushing teeth?
Well, because we just discussed all the reasons. It encompasses more than just brushing. I didn't want to limit myself and your imagination to the idea of just a brush going around. Like, there could be so much more.
Okay, Nick. You win again. Doing
Thank you.
teeth
And
is
I
correct.
choose to ignore your tone and just accept the sentiment.
Honestly, sometimes don't even know if I can do this anymore.
Life.
This podcast,
Oh, specifically,
which is my
specifically
life,
this.
which is my entire life, by the way.
It's everything I have.
I love it so much. I love you, but I just
Aw.
don't know. No, that was fake. I mean, it wasn't
Okay,
fake.
well, thank you.
I just got,
But it was halfway
got
in between.
swept up.
Yeah.
It's very early for me. It's it's morning.
Well, you didn't push back on this time. You could have said, "Can we do later?"
Because I don't have any power, Nick, as we just, see above. I have no power in this relationship. You just steamroll everything. So I just...
Sorry, your definition of power is being able to make me not say "doing teeth." That's what you want?
That was me
Because I
pushing
can
back.
grant that to you. I can grant it to you.
Someone's knocking on the door. Hold on. This could be good content.
I doubt it.
Fucking collecting money for fucking Gaza. God. Get off. I actually do have a funny story about this related to that. Not Gaza.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So do you remember when...
Do I remember Gaza?
I was telling this story with a couple of friends last week, and my friend Tom, who listens to the show, he was like, "You get scammed a lot." So that was a bit of Christopher Nolan storytelling there, Nick. Take note.
Okay. Yeah.
Last week, on my birthday, last Friday, I'm about to go out for dinner. Dinner's at 6. At 5:30, knock on the door. I've had a few pops with Lauren. We're celebrating. And knock on the door. There's two guys collecting money for kids with cancer or some bullshit like that. And I was like, guys, they started giving me the spiel. I'm literally about to go out the door. And they were like, we'll just take 1 second of your time, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, I couldn't, even though I said that, I just let them talk. And I was like, okay, guys, just cut. Don't give me the spiel. Just let me pay. I'll just pay. Can I just give you $20? And they were like, we actually have to sign up. And I was like, whatever's quick, just blah, blah, blah. I'll do it. And then it turns out you have to sign up for $40 a month for 2 years minimum.
What? No, they can't hold you to that.
Yeah. So it's just very difficult to say no to kids with cancer. But then...
Oh, I thought it was giving kids cancer.
I actually made that joke.
Okay.
I actually did make that joke. I think I had a real rapport with these guys. They're two like...
$40 a month for 2 years.
Yeah. They both
What,
had
just cancer
mullets,
Oh.
But like we really got along. They like really laughed at my jokes and stuff. I think that's probably
That's probably entirely why they... Yeah.
But
Just any sort of validation.
But I mean, the money's probably these guys. Like there was another guy just then, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can't argue with the cause. And I think this is
Yeah.
part of the setup and the system is that you can't, who can argue with, you just guilted into it. But then you could push back and say, well, where does this money go? Because it's not necessarily going, if I'm giving money to
Yeah.
Gaza, it's not going to
That 20
them.
isn't popping out of your pocket and going into a kid.
How much is going to you? But I mean, you kind of need them to, be the guys collecting from people, I guess. So it's all kind of part of the same thing. But it's just, I'm sick of it.
It is a tricky thing because, as you say, admirable cause, but then the methodology is predicated on you feeling guilty, right? Like
Yeah.
it is still and I don't know. I mean, it clearly succeeds for them. Otherwise, they would have changed tactics. But they must know that putting people on the spot, cornering them in a place where they want to get out of it, produces results, and people sign up or people will pay the money.
Yeah,
And that if you rely entirely on people to, self-volunteer that, they will never do it.
it's like the tipping. At the end of it, when you're paying the bill and they leave the tip option, but they're standing right in front of you. I hate this. I hate even the checkout. The checkout. If you go to Woolworths or whatever it is in New Zealand. What is it in New Zealand?
Woolworths.
Interesting. And they say, do you want to round up and give a cent to, kids with, I don't know, spina bifida? Is that a thing? And
Yeah.
I don't know, my instinct is like, if you said, can I have 1 cent, I would probably do it. But then just the prompt makes me not want to do it.
Well, you should never do that, by the way, for what
Why?
it's worth. You should never give the supermarket the money to give the donation because that becomes their tax deductible, not yours.
Is that
So
right?
if you give them the $1 or you give them the 14 cents to round it up, they will then donate that 14 cents to the charity and they'll use it for tax credit. They'll take it off their tax bill. You should just donate that money to the place directly so that Woolies doesn't get to pay less tax.
No, probably not going to do that, am I?
Yeah, I know, but which is why people do it. But it's such a greedy con, right? Because it is a corporation using individuals' goodwill to lower their own tax burden.
You can't trust anything in this godforsaken world.
Except the fortnightly delivery of the Deep Fort podcast. Welcome to Deep Fort, everybody. This is a podcast. Staccato intro. And it is a podcast in which we discuss things that matter and we play exciting quiz games with each other. Sitting through the internet with me this week, he's putting on some eyeliner to lift those bags. Michael Z.
Hello. It's not eyeliner.
Didn't do a thing. My Chemical Romance over here. And I'm Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi.
I was at dinner, but the same day as the scam. Birthday dinner. And it's a nice restaurant. It's the same place that I went to last year. It's like this Mauritian fusion food. And the waitress was immediately very... She wasn't rude, but she was unfriendly, frosty. One of these young chicks.
Cool.
Oh,
young.
You could say cool. I mean, she wasn't...
Okay.
I don't know.
What was her haircut?
That's a good question. No, it wasn't blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did picture a hot pink or a blue or something, and I was just vibe checking.
When I say young, she's like 25, 30, whatever. But she kind of thinks she's cool. She probably hangs around with cool people. Very frosty though, right? And it's like we all clocked it at the dinner. And
How many people were there?
5.
And
Five
all
people.
5 clocked it?
Well, Elise and Lauren did, yeah. Anyway, so Elise got there before we did anyway, and the waitress asked her, Elise came in with a present, and the waitress was like, "Oh, is it your birthday or something?" And she mentioned that it was my birthday at some point, but she had no reaction. Anyway, the whole dinner, we're trying to get this waitress's attention. It's a very small restaurant. We feel like she hates us. Like we all got that sense that she hates us. Then after after the mains were cleared, she came up and did like a happy birthday thing in front of the whole restaurant with a cupcake, right?
Oh,
And I was
okay.
like, okay, it didn't feel like the place that would do that, but
Yeah.
I was like, Elise must have asked her. Um, she didn't. This waitress did this off her own volition.
Wow.
It was so odd. I haven't stopped thinking about it
The
because she
tonal
was so,
like whiplash.
yes, she was just like rude, like in that cool rude way that like sometimes you might get at a cool bar or something with a bartender. But then to be
Yeah.
like, well, I'm gonna organize a birthday cake for this dickhead. You know, like what? It baffled me.
Yeah. Was she then nice from that point onwards, or did it go back to being
No,
distant and cold again?
yeah, yeah. She was. She was.
Wow.
We ordered another bottle of wine after that. And she was like, ugh. I don't know.
Okay.
It was.
Is it possible, and I'm just throwing this out there, is it possible that she had endometriosis? And she was having a really uncomfortable day, but had to show up at work because, the employer doesn't really appreciate, women's issues and doesn't treat it seriously. Healthcare for them is underfunded. And so she had to show up, but she was really uncomfortable. And as part of her work's, expectations, when a birthday happens, you do the birthday thing. And so she was there, doing her best, but you've actually judged her based on a quite serious and uncomfortable medical condition.
So I had that was my first question as well, and
Yeah.
I literally asked her, "Is this an endo thing?" And she said,
Yeah.
"No, I don't have an
Oh,
endo.
fuck.
I don't have any endos."
Okay. Well, then fuck that bitch, man.
Yeah, up your endo.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, and
No,
I
no,
hope that
no,
it
no.
didn't
Don't be
ruin your
sorry. Don't be
birthday.
sorry. No, there's nothing to be sorry for. It was just extremely confusing, and I don't mind being confused from time to time. I don't mind being
Did you
confused.
did you enjoy the cupcake? Was it a good cupcake?
I don't like dessert. I don't like cake. I didn't even have any of my own wedding cake. Cake sucks. I don't respect people who eat cake. I don't get it. I do not get
This
cake.
is your Subway take. This is your. That's a spicy meatball.
No, because
It is.
because no one agrees
I
with
don't
me.
respect people who eat cake.
No, yeah, I don't share this opinion often because I just kind of
Because everyone loves cake. And
everyone loves
famously
cake, and then they
delicious
hate
thing.
me for saying that. They think I'm like Scrooge or something. Like, you
like
don't
a-
like cake? Oh, you must
a
be
terrible
good.
person.
You're a sad man. You're a sad little man, aren't you? That literally happened.
Yeah, it sounds like you're copying a family member there. That's specific enough to not just be a stranger.
Yeah. No, I think once when I was a kid, and I know this sounds dumb, but when I was a kid, and I found out how cake was made, that it's like flour and then it goes in the oven, and then it's just like the flour will go, and it's just flour and sugar, and I was like, well, that's now I've seen the Wizard, or the Wizard of Oz. And I'm like, I can't. It's just flour and
I love
sugar.
the idea. I love the idea that a food stuff was ruined for you because you thought it was magic, and then you discovered it's just normal ingredients like every other food.
Yeah, but it was the simplicity of the ingredients that I was like, well, fuck it. The
Oh, there's nothing special in this at all.
ironically, people say, the expression, you don't want to see how the sausage gets made. I did see how sausages get made, and I was like, sign me up. Now that's a complex.
That's got complexity.
It's got yeah, it's got lots of different parts, innards and stuff. Like, great.
Yeah, there are layers to it.
But
ironically, exactly the same as cake, yet you are disinterested. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad that we were able to resolve this. And I'm sorry, I had a line in my wedding speech for you. Michael can have a wrong opinion about anything. And I do think that this is one of those good examples where 11 years in, we've stumbled into a new terrible opinion you've had, and I look forward to the next 11 continuing to unveil more.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's very much on the gentle side of my wrong opinions.
Yes,
How about
it is true.
that? How about that Jordan Peterson meltdown? Did you watch any of that Jubilee thing?
I watched the clips. I didn't watch. Like the whole thing. I just don't care about him enough.
I mean, I don't care about him either. But like, it was fascinating to watch that thing because he's the only thing that I think he really had, and it certainly mutated, or at least, well, maybe you would say it got revealed over the years. Was his I don't know. There was like a reasonability to it, like a rationality to like an objective rationality. I know people would disagree with this, but like I think that was part of his appeal. It was like cut the shit, pull your socks up. Like that was, but he has completely lost that. He cannot reason with well-meaning rational arguments anymore. He's lost it.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. I think his appeal was clean spoken, practical, relatively harmless advice, right? Like, if you feel like your life is not going the direction you want, here's a few steps you can take in order to find your feet and motivate yourself towards positive changes. And approaching it from attempting to be objective, kind of rational position is what engendered, him to a lot of fans. Endeared him to a lot of fans, I should say. And yet, as you say, now he's sitting in front of a bunch of people trying to make logical arguments like, are you, would you call yourself a Christian? And he dissembles. He cannot even commit to a statement and just flails around in a way that just, I don't know. I have to assume this is some form of deterioration, right? Like this is a result of his illnesses or his treatments or something like that. Because he wasn't like that.
No,
he did have some form of, he was a compelling speaker, right? People listened to him.
Yeah, I personally think it's fame as well. Because he's a psychologist by that's his trade, I guess. And then his lectures and a lecturer, and his lectures got him famous or notoriety.
Famous, yeah.
But psychologists, I mean, good ones will be objective and try and guide you in a compassionate way, and he does not have compassion at all anymore. His fame, his platform, I think, has gone to his head, and he's using that to now he is the center of what he is saying to himself, and that's why he's so going after women who are fat and trans people, and like this stuff is not the opinions or the musings or the behavior of a psychologist. That he thinks of himself as a celebrity, and I think it's really damaged him.
Well, I think the trap that he fell into was he became a wellness influencer, right? It wasn't that he was sitting there, tailoring individual advice to people or, offering sort of objectivity, if you like. It was he started to believe what he was putting out there. He started to, get high off his own supply and think that everything that he came out with was by its intrinsic nature true, good, valid advice, know. And I think that is a dangerous sort of, you can watch it in the fitness space and in the health space and, the influencer space, is that when you start to think that you're the shit and you lose that sort of groundedness or objectivity, then it's very easy to get, off base very quickly.
And I think at the same time, he also kind of became something of a martyr, with, and I think those two in happening simultaneously can really fuck you up and make you a different kind of person.
Well, and the world changed. I mean, we saw right-wing extremism blow out. We saw some of his fan base who liked that kind of self-actualizing libertarian thing swing into
Yeah.
like an unreality space where, Trumpism and, that kind of thing starts to detach itself from objectivity.
Right.
And if the only people that are listening to you now and are not arguing with you or, accompanying you on this shift are the right, then you start to end up with weird and unobjective views,
Totally. I think, and to that point, I think he also, I mean, his success, you could say, is a product of society at that time as well. Because, I mean, I can imagine that, if he put that 12 Rules for Life book out now, there's half a chance that that's not going to get as become as successful as it was pre-Me Too. Like he could only have become successful at that particular time, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's true with most lightning in a bottle kind of big hits, right? It's a confluence of circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there is a lot of interesting conversations to have about the culture of the manosphere, right? Like of the kind of folks out there that are attracting a certain kind of listener. And I'm, invariably a lot of these places do start to become like right-leaning, what would you call them? Like spirals, if you like, where inevitably it seems like they end up there's no left-wing Joe Rogan, right? There's no one that has the kind of reach, influence, and platform that those figures have on the right. For all of his unlikability, like Andrew Tate has millions of listeners and whatever, but I don't think there's a cultural equivalent to the left, and I think that's a weakness because there needs to be someone out there on the left doing their 3 times a week podcasts and putting out, an alternative sort of narrative. Otherwise, it all just ends up.
But is that really true? I mean, most of the comedians and late night talk shows, Seth Meyers, The Daily Show. I mean,
they don't have reach. They're not pop. I mean, there is a lot of expectation that these late night shows are going to go away in the next few years because it's daily linear broadcast TV, which is, shrinking in the face of streaming. It's advertiser centric. Like late night with Seth Meyers killed their band. They got rid of the music because they were cutting costs.
Well, I mean, look, I think the left,
even Daily Show, it's not what it was.
They're all clips now, I guess. But I think, if the left, well, I wouldn't really 100% agree with, the idea of like Joe Rogan necessarily being right wing, and him existing purely as a right wing podcaster. But put that to a side. If the left wanted to have their own Joe Rogan, I think what they would need to do is the ability to have nuanced conversations at length, and you shouldn't be able to predict every single someone's take on every single issue. You shouldn't be able to predict that, but I think you can for the most part with the left, which is why I love Bill Maher.
Why do you
Bill
think
Maher has the best show, and I know he's a prick, and I know he's I know he's smug, whatever. But he is seriously committed to with the guests that he has on. He is seriously committed to having a nuanced discussion, and I don't know what his take's gonna be on anything.
Why do you think that you should not be able to predict someone's opinion on things?
Because I mean, on a lot of issues you probably can, and it's obvious. But on the ones that exist in the grey area, I think it's it's tricky.
But why do you think that's an asset? What?
Because to me it shows someone who is not tied to a doctrine or a party. We're on the left and we think this. We're on the right, we think this. I think most people should have, I have conservative views slightly about this particular issue, and on this issue I'm, very progressive. I think that's how that seems more natural.
But don't you think that belies a lack of
critical thinking?
Not even critical thinking, like consistency. Moral consistency, if you like, for lack of a better phrase, where I feel like you should, if I understand your position on gay marriage or whatever, I should be able to extrapolate from your existing position what you think about, trans people or I think you should be able to predict someone's opinions based on what existing things they've said, right?
On most,
I'm not saying that.
yeah.
I'm not saying that you should that everything is a black and white issue, or that nothing should be discussed in depth and considering nuances. But I don't think I should. I don't think if I was listening to someone and I didn't. Well, I suppose I could. I'm thinking in real time. I suppose it could be interesting in the case of a current event or something that's just happened. I might be curious to know their take on it.
Yeah.
But I suppose I'm distinguishing like news stories from maybe like moral frameworks.
Yeah. It's hard to think of examples. I guess I think I'm kind of a good example of that. This is not me patting myself on the back, but like I do think I am pro-life. I am pro-gay marriage. Like those things are so obvious, but I don't think that But every now and then I will listen to Joe Rogan, and I don't think it's wrong to do that, and I wouldn't put him in a box like that. And I have thoughts about Gaza and Israel, that issue, and I think I don't think I could be pinpointed as easily as a lot of people, I think, who identify by their political ideology. Would you agree?
Yeah, I suppose that is a distinction. If you are self-identifying predominantly by a political party,
Yeah.
then yes, I suppose there is something to be said for, or there is an issue to address in terms of potentially a blind adherence to a political thing in the absence of nuance when there are complex issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, and I do think that you have, as you described, self-described, there is, you do demonstrate a willingness to consider deeper issues in complexity. I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to Joe Rogan. I do think the fact that he publicly endorsed Donald Trump at least suggests a certain degree of right-wing inclination. But yeah, I think that in order to be aware of and to potentially critique a person, a position, or a platform, you do have to actually consume that, read it, listen to it, and absorb it in order to have a fair response to it. So I don't, begrudge people for listening to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly guys that that are listening to these podcasts in the manosphere that they're certainly attracting that particular guy. That's very obvious. And those types of guys, the Venn diagram of people who are listening to Joe Rogan and people who are listening to Andrew Tate and taking him seriously is probably probably a lot more overlap than Joe Rogan and I don't know like an NPR.
Yeah, sure.
Right, but I mean, I think I listen to Joe Rogan. And I'm not I can hear him having a discussion and go, this is so stupid, or he's off on this. Like,
yeah.
And I think that is the difference. But I think you are right in that.
And you deserve credit for that.
They are. Thank you so much. Anyway, we're both correct. Speaking of which, this Tom York statement that just went out today, I think is a great example of this kind of nuance, and I think it was one of the best statements I've ever seen anyone make. What do you think?
It was pretty well considered, yeah. So when he toured in Australia last year, it must have been
October.
Someone stopped the Melbourne show and yelled out, pro-Palestinian sentiment and a
I was at the
critique of
show.
him.
I was at the show.
We talked about it on in an old ep. If you want to go back and listen to it, he didn't say anything in the aftermath of it.
And they've also gotten a lot of
this
flack, Radiohead, over the years for playing in Israel, and the fact that Johnny Greenwood is married to an Israeli woman, and who, I think she's been quite vocal about her pro-Israel views, and that's my understanding of the backlash. And they've been silent.
So there's been a bit of that there, and then presumably from the sounds of it, he's continued to cop shit over the past 6-8 months or whatever, to the point that he put out a statement today, which was very considered and not in a negative way, but addressed the complexities on both sides of the issues, and saying from the very first page of it, I don't know how anyone who has listened to any of the work, art, or anything that we've ever put out would think that we support the atrocities going on.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that there's a question as to what role a musician should play in solving problems like this, whether it is expected of them to make public stances and or let the art they produce speak for themselves, or indeed be an outlet or an escape or something for people who are otherwise thinking about it in different ways, whether it's okay to just go to a concert and enjoy music.
Yeah. And I think that the deeper point there that he was making is that, just the idea of getting press ganged into say Free Palestine. That is, I think he made a good point there where he said this is like, what are you going to get out of this? Like, who is this for? And also, is it my job to just say what you want me to say? My job is to convert how I see the world into art and let other people interpret it how they want. And he's right. Like, anyone who is a real, Radiohead nut, like we are, there is no
I don't even think you need to be that much of a nut to know it. I mean, it's very
so
surface
obvious.
and yeah.
It's so obvious. And I think there is a part of my issue with the Free Palestine kind of movement, not the cause at all, but the way it is conducted on social media and in our culture, that, the words Free Palestine have become kind of a social movement in itself. They've become a badge, and they've, on some level, they've become a fashion statement, I think. And I don't think the cause is wrong in any way. I think it's obviously a great cause, but I think it's pretty clear to me that, just saying Free Palestine is kind of empty in itself. It's a great marketing meme, but it's people. It can just be, it's just a badge in a way, and just saying, shouting it out at a concert. It
doesn't achieve anything.
No,
I don't think that it achieves anything if he says it either, to be honest. No. I mean, what does that do? Does it convince someone who hadn't paid attention that, this person I look up to says this thing, maybe I should look into it? Like, I'm just not quite sure the mechanism through which that achieves change. And yes, genocide, atrocities, murders, horrific, and he takes pains in the post as well to be like, Hamas did a horrible attack, and they're still holding on to hostages, and like all of these things can be simultaneously true, but I'm not sure how
both things can be true.
His role to be just amplifying that message and saying it ad nauseum, what I don't know. I struggle to see the pathway there.
Yeah, I wonder what went on behind the scenes for him to put that out. I wonder if it was in the works.
Well, he says
for a while.
it's been seriously psychologically challenging. Like, he sounds like he's been really struggling from the ongoing, commentary and attacks on him or whatever.
He's been wrestling with it. I've seen a lot of the criticism, including from Reggie Watts, from that statement has been he centered it around his own suffering. And in that Reggie Watts post, I sent it to you, but I don't know if you read it.
Yeah,
He said,
I did.
In the comments, there's some really weird stuff going on in the comments. A lot of pushback to Reggie Watts, people backing up Tom York, which I was surprised by. But then there was a lot of people saying, including Reggie Watts, this is not a time for nuance. I'm like, well, that's a weird thing to say.
I thought that was a strange comment from Reggie Watts.
Yeah.
It did make me change the way I saw him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you can be 100% on the right side of history and agree that that this is a disgusting and horrific event, but I'm not sure that like pulling apart someone's statement of support for that cause is productive.
Right.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I don't know if I would have recommended that he put out a statement, because I think I kind of like that he was holding out a little bit and not getting bullied into making a statement. But I liked that he did it, and I liked that his statement was so honest and exactly what it should have been. It was really like inspiring in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a very well written post. Anyway, I'm looking at the clock and I am going to make a hard pivot, a really hard tonal pivot, which is sort of my forte at the moment. But I think we should kick off this quiz night before this becomes a 2-hour podcast.
Question
All right,
time.
Michael. Well, let me kick off the first annual Deep Fork Quiz Night. This has been a few weeks in preparation. We've promised it for a while. Here's how it's going to work. I've written a quiz night. There are 5 rounds. Each round has 8 questions. This is going to be in pub quiz style. There is a Google form document that I've made up, which has all of your entry spaces where each of the rounds where you can put in an answer, pop in your name, pop in your email address, and we will mark them and we'll let people know how everyone has gone by the next episode. Of course, this requires the honor system. The way we're going to do it is we're going to do all the questions in a round. Then I'm going to read the answers out so that Michael gets the answers after them. Of course, that then means you could go and put in the form. But just, I mean, what does that achieve? Just have fun. Just do a fucking quiz. Don't try and rig the thing. It doesn't mean anything. So listen along, hit pause after each question, type along your answer, and then submit the thing at the end. And we'll just have fun. It's a quiz. You know, everyone loves a quiz.
Yes, they do. They really do.
Michael's excited. I can hear it in the way he said absolutely fucking nothing.
I was thinking about something else.
Okay, let me bring this up. If you open up your podcast app and read the description, you'll find a link to this Google form, and you can play along at home and have some fun. It's just fun, but there will be a score and someone will be crowned the winner.
First question's super easy, by the way.
Okay, what's the first question?
What's your name? That's easy.
Hey, have you got your name at hand?
Is name team name or just my name?
It's whatever you want, you know. Like if you want to be identified later, pop your name in it. If you want to have a team name, that's fun too. You know, we'll read out some of the fun team names on the episode next week.
Okay.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Welcome to round 1. The history round. Starting off with a classic, one of those pub genres that we all know and love. Round 1, question 1. Here we go. You ready, Michael?
Yeah.
World War I was originally known as the Great War, But in 1995, which potato chip collectible cards with special heat-activated designs caused a great war in the school playground?
Potato chips, school ground. What? War.
World War One was originally known as the Great War, but in 1995, which potato chip collectible cards with special heat-activated designs caused a great war in the school playground?
Oh, yeah. Wait, so I shouldn't say the answer, should I? Because the other people...
What we'll do is at the end of the round, when I give the answers, you can tell me your answers. So we'll keep these just as questions for now.
Okay. Just to be clear, I don't know, we're only on question one.
Uh-huh.
But did you say that we're looking for the chip or
What's the name of the potato chip collectible that was in the bag of potato chips? Special heat activated designs.
Yeah. Okay.
Question 2. September 11 lives in infamy as the result of a tragedy that continues to shape the world to this day.
Fuck yeah.
Namely, the birth of which Coldplay member in 1977? Chris, Johnny, Guy, or Will?
I am struggling to understand the questions when they're not written out. All I heard was September 11, and then you just pivoted to Coldplay very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
September 11 lives in infamy as the result of a tragedy that continues to shape the world to this day. Namely, the birth of which Coldplay member in 1977? Chris, Johnny, Guy, or Will?
Fuck. I'm an idiot, I think, because I'm not really... Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Shit.
You only have 4 Coldplay members to pick from. Which one was born on September 11th?
Okay. Okay.
He's understood the question. Question 3. The stock market crashed in 1929, but in what century were stock cubes first invented?
What's a stock cube?
Stock cube, dehydrated meat bouillon, the little cubes that you cook with.
Dehydrated meat bouillon. Okay, yeah.
Dehydrated meat bouillon.
Yeah, bouillon, yeah.
Which century were stock cubes first invented? Question 4. Marie Antoinette was the last queen of France before the Revolution. The Revolution was also the code name for which Nintendo console before its release?
Oh boy.
Which Nintendo console was codenamed the Revolution before its release?
The Revolution. Don't know many. Okay.
You've put a guess.
Whoops. Yep. Done.
Question 5. Captain Cook reached Australia in 1770, but which gay cook is one of the most powerful businessmen in the world?
I see what you're doing here. This is good.
Okay, he's worked it out.
Good. What was the last bit of that? Gay cook.
Captain Cook reached Australia in 1770, but which gay cook is one of the most powerful businessmen in the world?
Is Jamie Oliver gay?
You've fallen into my trap.
He's just got a lisp.
He's got a lisp.
Gay cook. Is this? Are they out? Are they?
Oh, famously out. Yeah.
Famously out, huh?
Probably the richest gay man in the world. Well, actually, that's not true.
The richest gay man in the world. Fuck I do. I am stumped. I know a lot of celebrity chefs. All right.
Question 6. In 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright flew the first aeroplane, but which kooky Saturday Night Live performer who goes by his middle name is also named Orville? Which kooky Saturday Night Live performer who goes by his middle name is also named Orville?
Can you give like the years that they were active?
You know him very well.
That's not what I asked.
2010s.
Orville, huh? First name?
Mm-hmm. First name Orville.
What's the second name? All right.
Question 7. Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon. But to get my arm strong, what year did I start working out in the gym?
What decade? Yeah.
What year?
Can I just see your arm?
It's just important. This is important. You see my arm?
Okay. Yep.
Question 8. Rosa Parks is known as the mother of the civil rights movement. But what city was she in when she refused to move? What city was Rosa Parks in when she refused to move?
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Aikido. Southern. It's a southern state. Southern city.
It's not even the state that I'm looking for. It's the city.
City.
Yeah.
Memphis.
You're trying to scout out based on my replies.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for your answers to round 1, everyone?
Yeah.
I hope you put your answers in. Here we go. Which potato chip collectible cards with a special heat-activated designs caused a great war in the school playground?
Tarzos.
Close. Oddbods.
No, I thought Oddbods though.
Yeah, well, you didn't put it down, did you? Number 2, which Coldplay member was born on September 11th?
Guy.
What was your answer? No, Johnny Buckland.
Cool. Not going to do that.
When were stock cubes invented?
18th century?
17th century.
Nothing was
Very
invented
close.
in the 18th century.
Dehydrated meat bouillon. Which Nintendo console was called the Revolution, Michael?
GameCube?
Good guess. No, off by 1 again. Nintendo Wii.
Great.
Which gay cook is one of the most powerful businessmen in the world?
Jamie Oliver.
Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple.
You're a son of a bitch, dude. That is unethical.
That's not unethical at all. Just because you
Unethical.
don't understand the question. I told you he was one of the richest people around.
If I had seen this, that's unfair because if I'd seen it, it would have been capitalized. So that's unfair.
Okay. Question 6. Which Saturday Night Live performer goes by his middle name is called Orville?
I had Fred Armisen.
Oh, close. Off by 1. Will Forte. Orville. Wilbur Forte.
I literally wrote Will Forte and changed it to Fred Armisen.
Oh, should go with your gut. That's the true thing with quiz nights. Question 7. Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon. But to get my Armstrong, what year did I start working out at the gym? Michael.
2016. Me too.
So inaccurate. 2021 is the correct answer there. And of course, Rosa Parks rode the bus in which city, Michael?
Houston.
This is this is just a straight history question that you should have known. Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery. Never heard of it.
So that's 0 from 8. I think we've set a good low bar, and now we can just build on this going forwards.
I see the next round is insects though, and I'm a big insect guy.
Here we go. This is playing into your forte a little bit. Round 2, everybody. Get ready. Get your pens out. Here we go. Second round is all about insects. Question 1. How many stomachs do bees have? Question 1. How many stomachs do bees have?
That's a good question.
That's a good
I think I got
question.
it. I think I got
Okay.
it. Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver. Michael's got an answer for question 1. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Question 2. What is the most numerous insect on Earth?
Oh. Easy.
Michael's got that one. Question 3. How many years have insects existed to the nearest million? How many million years have insects been around?
To the nearest million.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, take a stab. Take
To
a stab.
the nearest million. To the nearest
To
ten.
the nearest million. I've given you like a 6-fold. Like I didn't ask for an
So
exact year.
if I say 678 million, you go like, nah, 679.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it to you.
Fuck it. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Question 4. What proportion of insects are carnivorous?
What proportion? Like a
Yeah.
percentage?
Or just like a fraction.
A fraction? to the nearest to the nearest
the
what?
nearest million.
The hundredth of a
Just give
what
it, just have a stab.
proportion?
You know,
Carnivorous.
what proportion of insects are carnivorous? Give me a percentage. You can give me a fraction. You can do it in any way.
I reckon this could be a trick question
Okay.
because you would have been more more specific about what you wanted. So I reckon it's 0. Yeah, because you're a son of a bitch.
Okay. Question 5. What is the only known insect to be able to turn its head? The only insect that can turn its head.
Do they?
I refuse to acknowledge that.
Know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Question 6. Where are a grasshopper's ears? Where are a grasshopper's ears? Question 6.
Where are they?
Where are they?
Where are my ears? Okay. In their butt.
Question 7. What is the loudest insect?
Loudest. Oh, I think I got it.
Oh, Michael's
I
got an
think I
idea.
got it.
I think, yeah, we found the groove now for Michael. He's in his happy place.
Yeah. All right, question 8.
Question 8. Cockroaches can famously live for a week without their head, but why do they end up dying? After they've chopped off their head, why do they end up dying?
Yep.
Alrighty, so giving you the final moments now to pop in your answers for that round. That is the end of the insect round. Michael, I want to hear some answers. Question 1. How many stomachs do bees have?
4.
2. Incorrect. 1 where they put food and 1 where they put pollen and nectar for making honey.
Damn. I love bees so much.
Question 2. Me too. Bees are great. I almost made this an entirely bee round and then I just found other things. Question 2. What's the most numerous insect on Earth?
Mosquito.
No. Ants. Ants are the most numerous insect on Earth with somewhere between 10 and 100 quadrillion on the planet.
Agree to disagree.
How many years of insects existed to the nearest million, Michael?
100.
Pretty reasonable guess. Not quite there. 350 million years. 350 million years.
I have no concept of time or when humans started walking and all that stuff. It's just
Humans are like 100,000 years, I'm pretty sure.
It's everything is 100 million years to me. Like dinosaurs, 100 million years. Humans walking, 100. Everything in my head, I
Just
never
call it
paid
100
attention
mil.
to. Yeah.
What proportion of insects are carnivorous? This is question 4.
Zilch.
Nope, you thought there was a trap when there wasn't one. It's about a third. About a third eat other creatures. Yeah.
Fuck me.
That one was actually quite hand wavy. You could have had a stab. I would have almost given it to you. What is the only known insect to be able to turn its head? Drum roll, please, for Michael's first point.
Praying mantis.
Hell yeah. Hell
Fucking
yeah. The praying mantis
first
can
point.
change its head.
Hell yeah, dude. Here we go.
Question 6. Where are a grasshopper's ears?
In their butt.
Not quite. Underneath their wings, on the abdomen.
Okay.
Under the wings, on the abdomen.
Sure.
Number 7. What's the loudest insect?
Cicada.
Yes! 2 points for Michael. That's the African cicada at 107 decibels. That's almost as loud as a firework. I'll give it to you. Yes. Almost as loud as a firework or a chainsaw. Well done. And cockroaches can live for a week without their head, but why do they end up dying?
I wrote loneliness because no one looks good without a head.
Points for creativity. No points for accuracy. It's for dehydration. They can no longer drink without a head, so they actually dehydrate.
I just realized I should be approaching this like the big fat quiz.
Yeah.
Like when I don't know
need
an
to put
answer, I should
something
just
in.
write something funny.
Yeah.
That's
From
right.
the top. All right, so as of round 2, Michael has 2 points. We're on the board. We're making progress. Now, I think
There's
here
5 rounds. Oh my god.
we're going through them all right. We're making pace. This is a round that I think you might do well at, Michael.
Yeah, Radiohead, huh?
Round 3 is Radiohead. Finally, a good music round at a pub quiz. Question 1. Which Radiohead song features the lyrics, "I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, what the hell am I doing here"?
What are you doing?
It's question 1. Question 1 of the Radiohead section. Question 2.
You're up to something.
I don't know why I feel so tongue-tied. I don't know why I feel so skinned alive is the chorus of Myxomatosis. But it's not the only song that features those lyrics. Where did those lines first show up? I don't know why I feel so tongue-tied. I don't know why I feel so skinned alive. Yes, it's the chorus of Myxomatosis, but it's not the only song that uses those lyrics. Where did it first show up?
Is
Michael, if you don't get 8 out of 8 for this, you are going to be humiliated.
Is it from a B-side or a actual release?
It was on a CD. Yeah, it's a B-side.
It's a B-side.
Yeah. I can tell from previous questions this one is going to be tricky for you to understand, but here we go. Question 3. Which letter of the alphabet could you move from the first name of one Radiohead member to the first name of another Radiohead member and still end up with 2 valid English spellings of names? Which letter of the alphabet could you move from the first name of one Radiohead member to the first name of another and still end up with 2 valid English spellings?
That's a tricky one. I like this question, but it's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thinker. It's a bit different. I mean, you got a 126 if you just guess.
Pollen?
Pollen?
Pollen. Am I understanding the question correctly?
Yeah.
You could take the first letter of...
Not the first letter. Not the first letter. A letter. A letter in the names.
Oh, boy. All right.
To be clear as well, it is a one-directional move. So you're making one name shorter and one name longer. You're not swapping a letter. You're taking one letter out and putting it somewhere else.
Oh.
Question 4. Like Spinning Plates came about when they were trying to record a different song and on a whim played the audio backwards. But they later finished this original song in its forward direction. What was it called?
Like Spinning Plates.
Like Spinning Plates is chordally and melodically backwards of another song that they released. What was that other song?
I know this one.
That other song, of course, came out after Like Spinning Plates. That'll give you an era. Or at least cut some out.
Because Like Spinning Plates was on Amnesiac. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Correct. Question 5. What song was originally named OK Computer? What song was originally named OK Computer?
Mm-hmm. What question was that?
That's question 5. What song is originally named OK Computer?
Okay.
Question 6. The Idiotech synth line is famously sampled from an electronic music composer called Paul Lansky. But which American university was he working at when he wrote it?
Can you repeat, please?
The Idiotech synth line is famously sampled from an electronic music composer, Paul Lansky. But which American university was he working at when he wrote it?
Oh, I just realized the other one. Yes. Okay. Took a wild guess.
Question 7. How many Radiohead songs feature the number 15 in their lyrics? How many Radiohead songs feature the number 15 in their lyrics?
I'm just realizing why you started with creep. This is so hard. It's good. It's good. But, yeah.
Question 8. When the song Identikit was first debuted at Coachella, it featured a gnarly chord progression after the chorus, jumping from B major to F minor, a tritone. But on the studio version on a moon-shaped pool, what did they change the chords to?
I feel really sorry for people who are really excited about the quiz that are listening to this at the start, and now it's just this, and they're like, fuck.
Look, question 8, it's simple. When the song Identikit was debuted at Coachella, it featured a gnarly chord progression, jumping from B major to F minor, which is a tritone. But on the studio version, they changed the chords. What did they change the chords to? Michael, if you don't get this, are you really even a fan?
To be clear, you're wanting the names of the chords.
I want the 2 chords, yeah. The starting chord and the change, yeah.
This is unbelievably nerdy. This is
This
unbelievably...
is
literally
Radiohead quiz night. What do you mean literally? Everyone will get this. The 2 chords that changed between the live debut and the studio version. Michael, I don't know why you're struggling with this.
Oh, God.
Alrighty, let's get some answers here. Question 1. Which Radiohead song features the lyrics, I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo, what the hell am I doing here? Michael?
G'day.
I was actually looking for the Creep 2025 slow remix, the one that's 7 minutes long that he did on the runway.
Oh, shit.
No, that was, of course, Creep. Question 2. I don't know why I feel so tongue-tied. I don't know why I feel so skinned alive. It was Myxomatosis, but what's the other song where it showed up first?
I have no idea.
Cut Tooth. Great song. They should play it more. Question 3. The letter of the alphabet that you could take from one name and put in the other and end up with 2 valid English names. Any guesses, Michael?
No, I think if I had more time and more concentration, I could, but no.
I think that's probably true. It is the letter H. You can take the H out of Tom and move it into Johnny to form Tom and Johnny, but with normal spellings. The letter H.
Right. Where would the H in Johnny go?
Johnnny. Johnny.
Yeah, but Johnny's already got an H. Oh, no, it
Johnny
doesn't.
does not already have an H.
Fuck. Spelling got me again. Fucking hell.
Oh, wow. Question 4. Like spinning plates is backwards of...
I will.
Correct. Another point on the board for Michael. That's 4 points now.
Yes.
Question 5. What song was originally named OK Computer?
I took a bit of a guess at this, but I wrote Paranoid Android.
Oh, right initials, wrong name. Palo Alto was first called OK Computer.
Wait, what?
Question. Palo Alto.
I didn't understand the question.
No, you're correct. It was just you guessed the wrong song. Question 6. Which university was Paul Lansky working at when he wrote the Idiotech synth line?
Stanford University.
Really good guess, but no, it was Princeton.
Princeton. Okay.
Really good guess, though. How many Radiohead songs feature the number 15 in their lyrics?
2.
Great job. That's correct. Yeah,
Really?
2 songs.
What's the other
15
one?
Step and Climbing Up the Walls. 15 blows to the back of your head. 15 blows to your mind.
Cool.
Question 8. The song Identikit was debuted with the original chords jumping from B major to F minor. Michael, what did they change it to on the studio version?
This is insane, by the way, for many reasons, but just the fact that you should say play the song at least. I didn't even play the song. I wrote down F sharp minor and D major.
I will give you half marks.
I was trying to think of it in my head, and I was like, maybe.
So originally they jumped from a B major to F minor, which is a tritone. In the final song, they could jump from a B major to an F sharp minor, which is just a
that's what I
fourth.
wrote. I wrote down F sharp.
Yeah,
minor.
and I would argue that's less impactful. And if you go back and listen to the Coachella one, it just kicks better. It's really cool. So I'll give you half marks for that. You did get F sharp minor. Great job. So that was 2.5 points for that. 3.5 points for that. You did not too bad.
I'll take it.
Round 4, getting towards the end. Now, round 4 is, of course, the Knicks round. The Knicks round. I'm just looking for surnames. Just tell me the surnames of these famous Knicks.
Okay.
You got it? Just give me one surname. That's all you need. He's good at managing the Avengers and bad at keeping both his eyes. It's Nick. He's good at managing the Avengers and bad at keeping both his eyes. It's Nick. This is one that Michael won't get because he doesn't care about comics, but everyone else has got it. So we're moving on. Question 2. He's good at saying, "Hi, everybody," and bad at medicine. From The Simpsons, it's Dr. Nick. He's good at saying, "Hi, everybody," and bad at medicine. From The Simpsons, it's Dr. Nick.
Did they ever reveal his last name?
They did.
Dr. Nick. Because he's Dr. Nick.
He's Dr. Nick, yeah.
All right.
Question 3. He's good at becoming an independent South Australian senator and bad at staying an independent South Australian senator. It's Nick.
I know this one.
Question 4. He's good in The Thin Red Line and Cape Fear and bad in Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. It's Nick. He's good at The Thin Red Line and Cape Fear and bad in Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. It's Nick who?
Yep.
Question 5. He's good at learning from Ted Lasso and bad at learning from his mistakes in Taskmaster. It's UK comedian Nick.
Taskmaster.
Ted Lasso. UK comedian Nick. Question 6. He's good at marking the footy and captaining St Kilda and bad at, presumably, simple arithmetic. It's all Australian Nick.
Your face, dude. What happened to your face?
I like this round.
You lost your jaw for a second.
I like this round.
Nick. Oh, yeah. Oh, I actually know this. Yeah.
Question 7. He's good at creating a Russian republic and bad at maintaining a 304-year dynastic rule. It's Emperor Nikolai.
Oh, stop doing that with your face, please. It's really weird.
I like this round.
I don't know how to spell this, but we'll see.
That's right. And question 8. He's good at comedy, acting, and woodwork and bad at nothing. It's Nick.
Oh, yeah. I think I've done well on the Nick round.
Yeah, good. Well, you're an expert. Here we go with the answers for the Nick round. Put in your final answers now. Question 1. He's good at managing the Avengers. It's Nick who?
I didn't have anything for this. Oh, Kroll.
Nick Fury.
Okay.
Nick Kroll. Nick Kroll is a decent guess. I almost put him in one of the questions. Nick Fury. Question 2. From The Simpsons, it's Dr. Nick
Couldn't think.
Riviera.
Oh,
Riviera. Question 3 is an independent South Australian senator. It's Nick
Xenophon.
Great job. That's 1 point. Good in The Thin Red Line and Cape Fear. It's Nick
Nolte.
Yes, well done. Good at learning from Ted Lasso, the UK comedian.
Don't know.
Nick Muhammad. He's good at marking the footy and bad at simple arithmetic. It's Nick.
Rewalt.
Yeah, Revolt. Well done. He's good at creating a Russian republic and bad at maintaining a dynasty. It's Emperor Nikolai.
Gogol.
No, Romanov. The end of the Romanov dynasty. Nicholas II.
Spelt it really wrong then.
Really wrong. He's good at comedy, acting, and woodwork. Bad at nothing. It is Nick.
Offermans.
Well done. Well done. 4 from that one. All right, before we get on to the final round, I am going to do the outro here. So if you want to get in touch with us, there are plenty of ways to do it. You can email us at deepfort@gmail.com. You can reach out on Instagram. You can send us comments and thoughts that way. You can find us on Facebook. You can rate us on Spotify and leave comments there. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts too. And of course, if you want to keep listening to more of our episodes, there are plenty more of them in that podcast feed. So go have a scroll, go have a listen. And you'll enjoy plenty more entertainment at or below this quality, but not above, because this is the peak. On to the final round, Malcolm.
Hold on.
Oh.
And this week, the comment of the week, as you know, we shout out
We do the comment
anyone
of the week every week.
who comments on Spotify, so you should do it because you get a shout out of the week. It's
Yep.
Ben Quaid.
Hey.
He wrote his comment on the last episode, The Fog of War. The Carthaginian Empire is my Roman Empire.
Oh.
Very funny or clever.
Relevant. What did we talk about Carthage in the last episode?
Carthaginian. Very good.
Thank you for your comment, Ben, and of course anyone else who wants to be read out and slightly befuddled us, you can do so at Spotify. All right, final round. Here we go. I'm going to paste these in the chat because you're going to struggle. It is the food anagrams round. Food anagrams. Who's excited?
No one's listening at this point, Nick.
Everyone's still listening and everyone's having fun. All you need to do is rearrange these letters in form a food. Now, all of these anagrams form more than one word, so you don't need to make a single word with the letters here. You can break them up into multiple words. That's true for all of the clues today. All you have to do is rearrange these letters and form a food. The first clue, hairdryer cut. And my hint for it is a great takeaway. I'm popping it in chat so you can look at it with your eyes. The clue is hairdryer cut. A great takeaway.
A great takeaway. I'm going to come back to that one.
Alrighty, question 2. The clue is Puma prezzies. Puma like the cat, prezzies like the gifts. Popped it in chat for you, Michael. Puma prezzies. The clue is it's cut in eighths.
What was the clue?
It's cut in eighths.
Oh,
not that many foods out there. That are
yeah. I see you, Z's. I see you, Z's, giving you wait. There's more though, isn't there? Got it.
He's got it. Question 2. That is Puma prezzies. Now on to question 3. The clue is earphone kits. Earphone kits. And the hint is no pain, no gain. Earphone kits.
What was the clue again?
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Food. No pain, no gain. Spicy. Hot. Maybe hot.
I'll do it with a gesture. No pain, no gain.
Showing off.
That's a bicep flex for those playing at home.
Pain,
no pain, no gain. Earphone kits.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's go. Was that 3?
That's 3. Question 4. The clue is a tasty grapevine. A tasty grapevine. This hint From a South Australian bakery. A tasty grapevine. The hint is from a South Australian bakery.
I got half of it.
Question 5. The clue is mammal tits. Mammal tits. This is a biscuit drink technique. Mammal tits.
Mammal tits, good name for a band.
Yeah. I tried to make these sort of, memorable. A biscuit drink technique.
A biscuit drink technique?
Yeah.
A biscuit drink technique.
Yeah.
What?
I can't say more without giving it away.
Fuck is a biscuit drink?
A biscuit drink technique. Alrighty, on to question 6. Use gecko razor. Use gecko razor. The clue is it's soft, liquid, and refreshing. Use gecko razor. It's soft, liquid, and refreshing. Question 7. Dud kid typecasting. Delicious dessert. Dud kid typecasting. I'll even say it's a hot dessert.
A hot dessert, huh? Yeah, nothing like a hot dessert in a summer's day. What kind of desserts are there? There's tiramisu, that's cold. There's creme brulee. There's no R in there.
Warm. Well, depends.
The hot desserts, there is... there's... Oh, like a cookie crumble or apple pie. Apple pie. Oh, fucking hell.
Finally, question 8. Kleptocrat is risky. Kleptocrat is risky. The clue is surf and turf. You're not going to get this one, so I'm going to get to the end of it. And we will get some answers from you. Michael, starting with a great takeaway. Question 1. Hair dryer cut. What do we have?
Nothing.
It is, of course, a red Thai curry. Hairdryer cut. Question 2. Puma Prezzies. It's cut in eighths. Michael.
Supreme pizza.
Yes, well done.
Or pizza supreme.
I'll allow both. Question 3. Earphone kits. No pain, no gain. Michael.
Protein shake.
Great job. Well done. Number 4. A tasty grapevine. A South Australian bakery delight. Michael.
Pasty something? Something pasty?
Yeah, half marks there. Vegetarian pasty.
Vegetable.
Yes. Question 5. Mammal tits. A biscuit drink technique. Michael.
Nothing.
Tim Tam Slam. When you drink through a Tim Tam. The Tim Tam Slam, aka mammal tits. Question 6. Use gecko razor. It's soft, liquid, and refreshing. Michael.
Nothing.
Coke.
0.
Coke, 0 sugar.
Sugar.
Correct.
Yep.
Question 7. A delicious hot dessert. Dud kid typecasting. Michael.
I had nothing. I didn't write anything.
Sticky date pudding. Delicious
Sticky
hot
date
dessert.
pudding.
Dud kid typecasting. And question 8, of course, surf and turf. Kleptocrat is risky. Michael.
Nothing. I wrote nothing.
Yeah, well, you're correct. Oysters Kilpatrick.
Yes.
The answer, of course. Oysters Kilpatrick. Kleptocrat is
really
risky.
felt my brain just diving off a cliff in terms of concentration. It just went, we are done. I was kind of pretending to look at the answers by the end, like just so you thought I was giving it a crack.
No, I didn't. I kind of wasn't. I was a crack. No,
I was just kind of looking at anything. You know?
I did realize strategically that it was possibly not a round that suited the Michael brain, but that's all right. You got 2.5, so bringing your final total today to 12 points, Michael. 12 points today.
Out of what?
Out of a possible 40.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Well done to Michael. Of course, everyone else, hit submit on your Google Forms and I'll tally up your numbers. We'll find out who did the best in our next week's episode.
I feel like this is going to be more of a kind of one of those like psychological experiments where you think it's about the quiz, but then we're actually getting data from them it's got nothing to do with the quiz. It's like, are you the type of person? Are you lonely enough to listen to an hour and a half of this fucking thing and then submit the answer? That's the real quiz.
This is actually being used to train AI models. So this is actually for tech pros to profit off of.
Sweet. Do we get money for that?
We don't get as much as you'd think.